My name is?
So my name is Jessica, and I am a grandpa in the Catholic school.
What's the leader?
A leader is somebody who
Helps others.
helps other people.
Give her a round of applause. Good job. Little stage fright there. You did good. Hey, everybody in here is a leader. So when do you start setting the example? If you're always a leader, when do you start setting the example so you can be a good leader? Now, yes, sir. Do you want to wait until you're 25, 30 to start setting the example? No. And it all stems out the way, bless you, the way what you say when you talk to yourself. If you say to yourself, well, I'm only 9, or I'm only 10, or I'm 58 years old, I can't do this stuff. Or I'm too old to run for county commission. I'm 58 years old. That's pretty young, really, for an office like that. Because it takes that long to be mature enough to make the right sound decisions, right? I can look at it that way, or I can look at it in a negative way. The way you view a situation is the way you're going to react to it. See, you have a choice whether it rains or not. How about if it's hot outside? How about what happens in Indonesia? What do you have a choice in every day? Stand up. Sorry, my name is?
My name is Logan. I'm a grandpa in the Blackhawk school.
Sure.
You can change what your mood is by saying positive or negative things.
Oh, yes, yes. Very good. So, in other words, you're in charge of your own attitude, aren't you? So, you need to have an attitude of gratitude every day when you wake up. Thank your parents, thank the school system. Be thankful for what you have, and then you don't take it for granted, and then you appreciate it, and then you end up having a better day. It's when we wake up and we start complaining to our own selves, before we even open our eyes, we're already complaining. Oh, it's too early. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that, right? So no wonder when you get to school or when you're talking to somebody else, it's kind of pretty rough, right? But there lies your first choice of the day. You can choose to get up in a good mood, or you can choose to get up in a bad mood, right? Okay, so who read the chapter you're supposed to read? Anybody? Chapter 5, right?
6.
6, I'm sorry. Chapter 6. Come on.
There's 28 chapters.
Passing it on. Because we learned our programs from people around us, it is natural that we also pass the same kind of programming on to others. Unless we learn differently, we end up giving the same programming to our children or to people that you see every day, right? You help program your best friends at school. You help program the child that sits next to you in class, don't you? By the way your attitude is, isn't it? Now this guy collected a bunch of negative sayings, and he said, 1, you're just no good at that. Your room is always a mess. Can't you do anything right? You're just like your father or mother. Which always seems to be said when the child has done something wrong. Why can't you be more like your brothers or sisters? Anybody ever heard this stuff before? You'll never be an artist. You'll never be an athlete. You just don't try. You never listen to me. Anybody ever heard that? I tell you to do something and you do just the opposite. You never study. Your grades are atrocious. You talk too much. You always hang around with the wrong kind of friends. You're lazy. Who's heard these things before, right? Everybody pretty much heard them, you know. And how does that make y'all feel, and what do you think? Huh? Does it give you positive thinking? So how do you change that? You know your mind never sleeps, right? So before you go to sleep at night, when you wake up in the morning, you program it for the right thought process. How do you handle when you hear those type of things? Anybody know?
What do you guys think?
Anybody know how you could handle those kind of things?
What would you do if somebody told you, you're never going to be, if you guys do a sort of red belt, you're never going to be a black belt? What would you think? What would you think? Here?
That if somebody said that to you, I think that we are wrong.
That's right. You make your own choice, right? Can't tell you how many times people said that to me. You're a girl. You can't be my boy. Ha!
So what I want you guys to do, we've got this, I want you guys to think of one thing. When your parents say something, they're stressed at work, right? And they may use that kind of terms with you, right? What they're trying to correct is your behavior. Obviously, they love you, right? Stress at work, things like that. They say things, right? So how do they correct your behavior, or how would they be able to address that, Sam? Let's say, for instance, you didn't make your bed, and your dad told you to 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
What could he say to you to help you know to make the right decision to make your bed? He would say to you, you need to be better, you need to listen more. Would that make you make your bed? You think? Okay, that works for you. Yeah. Okay, so he gonna buy you something if you make your bed. Okay. Yes. Ma'am?
You get more money in your wallet.
So okay. Female response, more money. Yeah. And your dad must say that, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Keep the mom on.
Huh?
The mom on.
The mom eye. Oh, she gives you the mom eye.
The
Okay.
mom eye is very effective. It's correct.
What would you do if he was your child? What would you say to him to make him bed? What do you think? What would you say? What would you say? What would you say to him? Jack, what would you say to your son? Yes, Sam?
I'll say you don't get your allowance till you make your bed.
Don't get your allowance till you make your bed, okay? What would you say?
Make your bed or you won't get any dessert.
Make your bed and you won't get any dessert. Okay? Jack? What would your father say to you? What would you say to your child, excuse me, to help them make the bed? No video games, okay? Here's what I would say, just a few. You know, you've got a beautiful room here. Do you think making your bed would make it look even better? And I want your room to look the best it can so when you have friends come over so they think well of you. What do you think? Is that a win-win? Yeah. You think that? Think that about your friend. Go ahead. Ideas are things. Things are ideas. When you address a problem, address it in a way that it's a win-win situation. Win for you and you get what you want done, right? Has everybody got a roof over their head? Everybody eats 3 meals a day? Everybody gets clothes on the back? Well, you're better than millions of children all over the world. I have seen poverty, and I have seen it in the most rawest forms. And and requesting you to make your bed is a small, small, small thing. There's a lot of kids that would love that. Now, did that help you make your bed? Because my dad walked went to school up the hill in the snow every day, even in the winter, maybe even in the summer. You know, I heard all about it. 22 miles of school uphill both ways. In the snow in June, somehow. I have no idea. But he did. And I heard about it, right? Did that make me appreciate what I had? I'm going, man, I ain't living up in Illinois and Iowa, so I don't really care. So try to stay positive when you're talking to yourself and when you deal with things. We got a little homework here. You're going to list 5 examples of negative self-talk. All right? And then I want you guys to go through chapter 7 with your parents and then how we can change our attitudes. All right? Pass this around, get pens. This chapter 7 is very, very short. But I want you to work with your parents or with somebody to help you work through it. You'll find that.